It was in 1970 that efforts to classify tornadoes and better understand the tornado hazard began to make genuine progress. After studying the deaths and damage at Lubbock, Texas, Professor Fujita of the University of Chicago introduced the concept called the Fujita scale of tornado intensity. Since 1971, every officially documented tornado has been given a Fujita scale rating from 0 to 5. The F-scale ratings are not based on the appearance of the tornado itself, no matter how spectacular, but the rating is based on the intensity of the damage inflicted by the tornado. The F-scale rating is not based on the total dollar damage during the tornado, but is based on the single most intense example of damage that was inflicted along the tornado's path. Finding that single most intense example is not always easy amidst the rubble of an entire community. Professor Fujita also calculated a range of wind speed values for each category. These are the estimated wind speeds needed to produce the 6 levels of damage. More than half of all tornadoes are in the F0 and F1 categories and are called weak tornadoes. A tornado that does no damage or dips down briefly and breaks a few tree branches is rated at F0. A tornado which damages the siding and partially unroofs a frame home would be rated at F1. Mobile homes that are flipped over and destroyed by a tornado are usually considered as examples of F1 damage. F1 tornadoes can be very dangerous. These have caused deaths under falling chimneys, under falling trees, and especially in overturned trailers. As long as the tornado did not intensify, the greatest danger at this Minnesota lake was probably from falling trees at the lakefront cottage. Getting into a closet might have been the safest thing to do.
You can see it. It is totally incredible.
This is so sweet.
See if I get a little more. It's coming up behind it.
Destruction of rural outbuildings is generally considered as F1 damage, although F2 ratings are awarded when a well-built barn is destroyed. The type of tornado called a land spout may seem at times like an overgrown F1 dust devil, but they have produced near F3 damage in Denver, Colorado, and should be considered as dangerous. If the tornado, at its worst, rips the roof from a home or other frame building, all weaker damage is ignored and the tornado is rated at F2. If a tornado was on the ground for 40 miles and unroofed only a single home, the entire 40-mile track is given an F2 rating. For mobile homes, the transition from F1 damage to F2 damage has not and probably never can be defined. Some meteorologists consider the complete devastation of a mobile home to be an example of F2 damage. Others always rate mobile home damage at F1. There is no well-defined standard. A tornado with winds that can rip the roof from a frame home will completely disintegrate a mobile home. Tornadoes stronger than F2 will leave a mobile home park unrecognizable.
Oh, I hope she's in her basement. Oh my God.
If a tornado rips away the roof and exterior walls of just one well-constructed home, all lesser damage is ignored and the tornado is rated at F3. F3 tornadoes can also throw vehicles long distances, but there is no agreed-upon standard that numerically links the distance traveled with the estimated wind speed. If at least one well-constructed home is left as a mass of debris without any standing walls, then all lesser damage is ignored and the tornado is rated at F4. If at least one well-constructed home is completely swept away, leaving a bare foundation, then the highest rating, F5, would be applied. Since both the F4 and F5 ratings involve homes that no longer exist, choosing whether an F4 or F5 rating is appropriate is very difficult. Tree damage presents a unique challenge to the F-scale rating system. Each tornado and each tree species are unique. Even adjacent trees grow in a slightly unique environment. There is no defined standard for rating tree damage, only subjective judgments in individual cases. We know that straight winds in the F1 range can devastate an entire forest. We know that F1 winds can uproot large trees. Yet some trees remain standing, stripped of bark and branches, even in F4 winds. Since more trees than buildings are hit by tornadoes each year, an F-scale standard for tree damage might be a very useful tool, if one is ever developed.